The great sounds. We really have a treat there. Rehearsal, free-forming it right there from Funkin, and their leader, real great guy, and most talented musician, Nowell Haskins, is here live at the WVOF studios in Fairfield, Connecticut. So want to welcome right now to the Upper Room with Joe Kelley and G DeSo, Mr. Nowell Haskins. How you doing?
Good, good. Thanks for having us up, Joe.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
So you want me to move that mic down?
No, this is good.
It's cool?
You're fine, yeah.
Okay, so that's what it sounds like in New Jersey when you guys are rocking the house and rehearsing, right?
Yeah, that's a little rehearsal time there. Real impromptu, like early to rehearsal, once in a while type thing.
Right.
You know, we just plugged up and kind of went for it.
So take us into the rehearsal with Funkin, and who was grooving on that track?
That's myself on drums, Perk per year, the Frenchman, the African-American Frenchman on bass. Perk's also doing some bass playing with the John Hickey Band right now.
Okay.
You'll find that it's been commonplace for the Funkin' cats to kind of, you know, spread the love around.
Right.
You know, once we get into it, people come looking. You know, I think this band has really developed a really unique sound, and it's new and it's fresh. And again, that's Perk per year on bass, Billy Spruill on guitar. Billy comes from one of the legendary groups out of Plainfield, New Jersey, Plum Nasty. He's also featured on Billy Nelson's OG Funk on guitar. And lastly, but not least, is the great lead guitar player Charles Rivers. We call him Chew. Charlie's been playing guitar for a lifetime and a half. He's one of Eddie Hazel's bestest friends, and Charlie's been around for a long time, and he's really just starting to get his just due. He does a lot of things with Funkin', as well as he's playing with Barbara Harris and the Toys right now, and he's also doing some things in a three-piece Blues Explosion. But Charlie is like really, really way, way ahead of his time on the guitar. He's an axe master, to say the least.
Right, and it sounded great right there, and you guys have been at it for a long time, but you're really excited. I mean, Nowell Haskins has dropped a lot of great music, soon to be in listeners' ears properly, and we should let our listeners know the website to hit up, funk-kin.com.
Correct.
And you can go there and contact the band and the self-titled CD Funkin' as well.
As well.
Can contact you guys for that.
As well. And we'll send you out something real personal.
Right.
You know, that's the way we want to stay. We designed this band to be that way. This was not created to be a corporate slave bus.
Right.
This has always been independent and, you know, about each other and the people. So we'll send you out something real personal if you contact us.
So a lot of listeners out there know your background in music and your family and everything, but just for those tuning in, the Haskins family, of course, your pops, Fuzzy Haskins, for a long, long time, great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how did you get initiated into playing music, and was it the drums, and what brought you here to this day?
I guess it's been like you said, it's the spirit of the drum, man. I guess was introduced to the drum before I probably stepped on the scene of Earth, you know, listening to the vibrations in Mama's belly. And then, of course, when I was about 3 years old, I was really into the spoon drumming thing, you know, the pots and pans and playing on the tables and stuff like that. And one recollection that sticks out really strong in my mind is my dad had come home off the road, from his one of the many tours with Funkadelic, and he had the drummer with him at the time, who was Tiki Fullwood, Funkadelic's original drummer, and we were sitting at the table, and I can just remember sitting on my father's lap, and Tiki was sitting beside us, and just listening to him playing some things with his hands on the table. And, Tiki had a really, really strong pair of feet, and it sounded like a drum set to me, and that was very profound in my decision to be a drummer. And from that day forward, I started playing, and I've never stopped.
So you got into the drums in school, and
yeah, when I would sit still long enough in school. The school thing was a little different for me. I definitely didn't see it in cohesion with my drumming, but
right.
While I was there, I did play for a minute, and I would recruit enough kids out of the band that were not probably paying attention like me, from the drum stand. And in your school band, the drummers are in the back of the room, and we have these risers in most classrooms where you're practicing drum ensemble, and the drums are up high, so I could see the kids that weren't really paying attention to the teacher as well as myself. So I would usually recruit those guys after class to do some other things, and that was it, man.
So you grew up in Plainfield, New Jersey, which is historical for the funk and
correct.
Parliament and Funkadelic, everything there. And
yes.
And when you got into music and everything, I mean, it's obviously different having a dad, a world traveling musician. Looking back on that, did you see it as something special growing up in that kind of family, or you didn't?
I don't know if being in that, you more so. I don't think you really view it as anything out the norm. I think it's the normal, well, at least from my perspective.
Right.
It's what I knew to be. I knew Dad wasn't at home, and I knew what Dad was away doing, and I knew that Dad played music that affected people, and that more so in itself was special to me. I guess in every kid's life, you have a period where you want to be a part of, with the other kids, and you start to develop your own niche somewhere along the line. But I guess I went through that little period, where some kids viewed it as kind of strange, because Funkadelic weren't the most common group of musicians that have ever been. But, at the same time, that made them even the more special to me. There were a lot of questions from people, not only kids, adults as well. Mm-hmm. I had plenty of teachers that knew, that my dad was in a band, and they knew of Funkadelic, and they knew of their reputation. So, yeah, it kind of put the spotlight on you for a while and brought some attention.
Right. So, my special guest right here on the Upper Room is Nowell Haskins, leader of the great band Funkin', and we've been playing their music through the years with Funkin'. And also, he's been sending us some stuff and saying, "Hey, man, take a listen to this," and we're loving it, as are the listeners here. So we'll talk more about what you've been doing lately with the band, but we'll give our listeners a taste of something from the Funkin' CD, and we'll go with the kickoff track called "It's On." And all this music's available at funk-kin.com, and we'll come back and speak more with my special guest this afternoon, Nowell Haskins. Yeah, right there. That is from Funkin' CD, Funkin', and that came out in 2000. It's on, and it's on today with our great special guest here, Nowell Haskins, leader of the band Funkin'. Yeah, so great to finally meet you. I know we talked a bunch of times, and you got a lot of history to all your playing, and you're still a young cat, so packed a lot of musical experiences. And we were talking off air about in your journey touring with Bernie Worrell and the Woo Warriors, and Bernie's influence on yourself. How did you actually get the gig to be in the Woo Warriors, and what was that like?
It probably was just timing, like everything else in the music business is timing. I was just around probably at the right time and the right place, and the association's always been there. Bernie and my dad were roommates in Funkadelic for the longest, and they have a really good relationship. And the call was made, and they have some great people working with them as well. Brett Grau, who's also an excellent musician as well. A lot of people don't know that, but Brett's also an excellent musician. He and I were talking, and the invitation was made, and I accepted gratefully. And the experience that I had with Bernie was a one of a kind. Bernie is like the world's greatest musician, not just keyboard player. He hears so much that just the average person, the layman, wouldn't think was there. He hears it, I can recall one time we were rehearsing in this building in New York, and we were probably like on the third floor, and we were playing a song, and Bernie stops the song, and he says, something's wrong. So we start playing again. And it wasn't anything immediate with the band, so we all were kind of confused and just not understanding why he kept stopping the song. But we later learned that on the sixth floor, there was another band rehearsing, and Bernie was actually hearing a key that wasn't in the song that we were playing. Mm-hmm. But because he has perfect pitch, he hears things like that. And it just, that was profound to me, man. And it stayed in my mind, and I'll probably never forget it. But he's just, that's typical of Bernie.
The way he is, yeah.
Just the way he is. And I send out much love to him and his family, and that band of Woo Warriors.
Right.
That in itself is like the greatest opportunity if you ever get to hear, ever get to play with, or just to see them. It's really, really a blessing and opportunity, and I appreciate Bernie.
And we just got to get Bernie in the studio or whatever he's making the studio to come out, because it's been a while. Yeah. So we talked about your days. Of course, your dad, Fuzzy Haskins, the beginning there from the Plainfield, New Jersey crew, and George Clinton, all the cats. To when you became a musician, what was it as a working musician? Where did your first gig start?
I was 11 years old. We would go to this dude ranch in upstate New York, Kerhunson, New York, a place called the Pine Grove. I'm sure it's still there. Mm-hmm. I just haven't been there probably in a good 15, 16 years, but we would go there every summer, and I would sit in with the band that was playing as entertainment. And when I turned 11 years old, we were there, and the drummer and the lead vocalist got into an altercation mid-set. Now, these guys are fighting, and I was sitting at the corner of the stage where I always sat. We went there, and I was playing on a LP that the percussionist would let me use while I was there. And afterwards, the drummer just got up off the drums and left. And the vocalist, he looks at me and he signals to come on up. And that was my first pro gig. Right. After the set, my mom says, well, when's he going to get paid? So that was the first pro gig that I had, 11 years old, and it just never stopped.
How about the first band you ever put together or joined up full time?
First band I ever was in was, I don't even remember the name of the group, but we would have this thing called Music in the Streets in my community every summer. And it was a group of guys from the neighborhood, and we would play like a lot of top 40 songs, and and stuff like that. PFunk was always in the repertoire.
Right.
And then the first organized group I probably was in was Gary Scheider, who's the lead vocalist for Funkadelic. He has a ton of siblings, and they all play. I believe there's 7 of them, and they all play. And he also had a sister who's deceased now, Peanut, who was like the world's greatest vocalist. And they had a band called McFunker's Children. Mm-hmm. And you know, my cousin was married to a drummer, and he was playing with them. And when they learned that I played drums, I got really tight with Gary's youngest brother, Nate, who's the guitarist in Funkin', and we set it up so they would have an argument with this guy, Clyde. His name was Clyde Ragland. They would have an argument with him. Now, this guy was married to my cousin, you know, so he knew me. So they got into the argument with Clyde, and they kicked him out of the band. And Nate called me on the phone. He says, "Yo, man," he says, "he's gone." I said, "Well, is his stuff still down there?"
Right.
He says, "Yeah." He says, "Come on down." He says, "You can play with us." He says, "Just play his stuff." You know, he says, "You know, after rehearsal, we'll get rid of it, and we'll get your drums down here." So that's the way that went down, man. And ever since, and I was like 14 at the time, maybe 13, 14 at the time. And I just been doing it with them guys ever since. You know, Nate and I are like a real
team,
duo, and a team, a production team, and you know, we do a lot of things together. But that's the way that happened. That's the true story. Yeah.
Probably a lot of bands still operating like that now,
Yeah. And the guy hasn't spoken to me since, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You still married to your cousin?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. No, and I've seen him a dozen times, you know, but he just won't even say anything. But hey, I'm sorry, Clyde. I'm sorry.
The official apology right there, Clyde.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you just tuned in, the special guest this evening is Nowell Haskins, leader of the band Funkin'. We may be joined a little later by Keith Thomas on the road in, and the band Funkin'. You've got some dates coming up performing.
Yes.
People can check you out, right?
Yes. We're going to be up at Nelson's Ledgers on the 31st of July. Mm-hmm. Nelson's Ledgers is in Youngstown, I believe, Ohio. But they do have a really beautiful website. It's NLPQ, lowercase letters, NLPQ.com.
And what's the date for that?
That's July the 31st. I believe the band probably will play at like 7:30 or 8.
And you play outside?
Yes, it's an outdoor. It's a festival setting. There's about 500 acres of property. There's plenty to do there. There's a lot of vendors. It's real free form, good-spirited, good gratuities, just good people there, man. Come get your tie-dye, get your funkin', and just, you know, enjoy yourself. Bring your own brown bag, but you know, there'll be some there, I'm sure.
So, and all this information, you can go to funkin.com, FUNK-KIN.com, and definitely contact Nowell about picking up the CD Funkin', and then, of course, they'll let you know about the new material, and we're going to be playing some of it right here. We'll get into something from the first album, Funkin'. This is called Crazy Crush, and how did this originate in the studio for you?
Crazy Crush didn't really originate in the studio at all. This song was put together by Nate Scheider. He was attempting to woo a young lady, and you know, he really had a crush on the chick. And you know, when we came to do it, we all kind of, you know, put our own flavor on it and whatnot. The responses that we've gotten from the song, I feel it's an underplayed song. Most people always go after the funk, of course, but this song is really like a deep ballad for a young cat that's trying to get with a young lady. I'm sure it will put you in the mind of some of the great ballads that have been written by Ronald Isley. It does lead off with a sort of classic Ernie Isley style guitar solo that's played by Gene Thomas, Grady's other son. Grady, also one of the original members of Parliament Funkadelic. Gene came in and laid like a tremendous guitar solo at the beginning of the cut, and I just always have loved the song, man. I think it's a great song. We want to start performing this song in our gigs, so yeah, please contact us and respond,
Right.
and let us know what you guys are feeling about Crazy Crush.
Hit the funk-kin.com website, and this is WVOF in the Upper Room. Nowell Haskins is here, and we'll listen to Crazy Crush. Right, that's some music for the young cats out there, struggling with love and everything, maybe. And that's called Crazy Crush from Funkin' CD, the self-titled, which came out in 2000, but you've been working on a lot of new music. Some of you've been really kind to let us play ahead of time and give people a taste of it. I know people have been digging it, so yeah, thanks for that. What's been happening in your studios?
Oh, actually, I've been kind of spreading the love around again. I'm doing some work with a gentleman named Robert Chicken Burke. Chicken is the conceptor and co-conspirator behind the Drugs Project. He's just a great producer. He's a great writer. He's a great vocalist. He's a great musician. You know, he and I have been working on some music together, along with Joey Eppert from 3 and also the band Drugs. Some stuff we're looking to release real soon and actually go on the road with. We're doing something called Chicken and the Superstars, and you can look for that to happen real soon. It's really a great take on soul music, psychedelic soul music. Music that, well, it's actually music that's kind of been lost and forgotten about, but we just kind of rehashed it. The vibe that we have together is great. It's a great vibe, and the music is just really turning out awesome, you know. And I've also been doing some work with a husband and wife team from up this way, Jeff and Marianne Purback. I'm sorry. They have a project called Chronic Bliss. Okay. It used to be The Big Moment. They're actually shopping for a deal with some stuff that we recorded together in Sweden. And I've also done some tracks with an Australian guitarist friend of mine. His name is Jan. We're looking to have some music dropped in some films and doing some scores. I'm just kind of wetting my feet in different areas, you know, right, and kind of trying to just feel my way through it. You know, it all feels good though. You know, I don't want to get pigeonholed in any particular genre or loop. You know, I want to be free to do what it is I love to do, and that's music. You know, right, no matter where it goes or who it touches, as long as it does that.
Well, that's great. You got an open mind, and you know, yeah. I'll give you a little background story. When you were in the hallway out there, we got a free CD giveaway stuff, and you just told me you dig all kinds of music.
Absolutely.
And like those surprises. Yeah,
absolutely, man.
And so how about Funkin's new project? I know you're always cutting.
Yes. That's ongoing. Funkin will forever probably continue to cut music. It never stops because we do have the convenience of a home studio, and you know, we have a magic that we have together, as well as, you know, I'm sure a lot of groups feel that way. Certain things happen when there's certain individuals, and you know, in the Funkin' camp, when we're together, we just have a different magic. You're getting to hear some of it right here, and you know, Joe, I always send you, you know, some things that we're doing, and once we kind of get them molded, they don't have to be completely done,
right?
You know, but once we kind of mold the thing into something, you know, we like to get them out and at least get a response and see, you know, if we're touching somebody, or if it's, you know, fun to people's ears. You know, that's what we do. Music is who we are. It's so much a part of our lives, and it's always been that way, and I'm sure it's going to continue to be that way, no matter if it's mainstream, underground, you know, independent, whatever it is, it's music to us, and that's the magic. So,
And you can right now do your homework right now, whether you listen to WVOF or the Upper Room with Joe Kelley and G DeSo at upperroomwithjoekelly.com. Go to funkkin.com, funk-kin.com. Find out all about Funkin and all the upcoming dates. And you're playing in New Jersey too throughout the summer too, right?
Yeah. We have some things going on. At a friend we have down at the Stone Pony. We actually got the gig. We just played there a week ago, and we got the gig from a friend of ours, Mr. Robert Cool Bell, from the legendary Kool and the Gang. Another A1 A+ guy who's kind of lent his knowledge and friendship and a helping hand to us, when we called upon him. And, he turned us on to some people down in Jersey, as well as August the 13th, we'll be playing in, I think it's Worcester, Mass. I'm not sure how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Worcester, I think.
Worcester.
Yeah,
Maybe it's
like
Worcester,
that.
Mass. Something
Right.
like that. But it's the name of the venue is the Lucky Dog. We're going to be playing there on the 13th. And on the 14th, we're going to be playing Keith Thomas, which is Grady's other son, and he's also the lead vocalist of Funkin'. We're going to be playing his wedding date, which is August the 14th, and that's going to be in Boston, Mass.
So bringing the funk to a wedding party.
Yeah,
reception,
absolutely.
That must be real nice.
And, well, I mean, we just couldn't think of an event like that without
Right.
it, because again, it's who we are, and it's
you
what
guys
we
got
love
the
to
tightest
do.
band around, so
Well,
why not?
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. We just like to be together, man. And any opportunity we have to play, we kind of like to just take people up on that and go ahead and do our thing.
So we got another gift that you brought here. I believe this is something you've been working on in the studio. It's an instrumental track, but it's funky nonetheless. And I don't know if you've titled it yet, but
Actually, we haven't.
Uh-huh.
We're definitely open for people to send in some titles if they're willing. Please feel free to send us some title names. We actually haven't even named the next record, so we're open to that as well. Please, put your funk caps on and think of some really interesting titles for us and send them on in. We're open to receiving that.
all right. Nowell Haskins is here, and we're here.
All right, that is
88.5
some great
FM.
new untitled
And
music
we'll give a
from
listen, come
my
back
special
and
guest
speak
and his
more
band
with Nowell.
Funkin', and that is Funkin' doing the thing in Jersey, and man, that's incredible there.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah,
Thank
and you want the listeners to write in, give them their thoughts.
Yeah, give us some title suggestions.
Yeah,
The new music, and we're going to be playing some more new music from Nowell Haskins and Funkin'. And you grew up with such a amazing pedigree with your dad and all the cats you grew up with. The famous barbershop out in Plainfield, wasn't there around that time? Yeah, is it still there or no?
No, unfortunately, the barbershop has been removed.
Uh-huh.
At present, there's a community pool and a playground there that has taken its place. However, in keeping with our legacy of the funk and that special magic that comes from PFunk, Funkin' does like its predecessors and forefathers also rehearse in the barbershop. We're in the basement on Park Avenue of Butchie Webb's New Cuts. That's the name of the barbershop, Butchie Webb and New Cuts. It used to be the old Park Jeweler. We rehearse right beneath the safe, and there's a lot of energy in a barbershop if you really think about it. The barbershop, especially in the black community, that's like, it's just been like, it's so much to everybody in the community. Even you wouldn't think right offhand that females would have a place in the barbershop. However, if you hang around the barbershop, from time to time, most of the ladies, whether it be their spouses or children that they're bringing in and out of the shop, but they will come in and spend some time in the barbershop. So the energies that you get out of a barbershop are so unique, and I think that the presence is always so strong. All the news, all the latest, what better place to get hooks for songs than the barbershop?
Yeah, there you go.
What better
right.
place to get ideas for songs than the barbershop?
Right.
And there are a lot of times before we rehearse, we're like standing in the back of the shop. There's a little area where we come in and go out, and sometimes you'll find some instruments and stuff laying around. But we hang back there sometimes, and you can't help but overhear the conversations that are going on up front.
Uh-huh.
And there's been a million times, if there's been one, that we've run downstairs with a good hook for a song, or even, they're usually upstairs playing the stuff that the younger kids nowadays are into, the hip-hop. We might hear a hook or something that's going on MTV Raps or BET, whatever, and we'll go downstairs and come up with a funky riff or something off of it, and it'll become part of us, what we're doing.
So the rehearsals got to be real special, and
yeah.
Now, how about? I mean, you grew up playing live instruments, and things have changed for young kids for the most part.
Absolutely.
Do you find some people going, the young kids taking a detour and hooking on to how you grew up as a musician? Or?
I do, Joe, and now I'm really grateful for all the avenues and the forums that are around and starting to be set up, especially like the thing that Prince is into, this whole musicology thing, and trying to keep instrumentation in our school curriculum and stuff like that. Funkin' is so appreciative, and we're so down to support that anytime. If there are any listeners or any callers or anyone that desires to have live musicians come in and demograph, or come in and speak, or come in and tutor, whatever the need be, if you're reachable for us and in our immediate surroundings, please reach out to us. Once again, that's funkin.com, funk-kin.com. And there you'll find a way to contact us, and we'll be glad to come out and help, motivate and push this. We feel that it's an art form that cannot be lost, and if we have anything to do with it, it won't be lost. I hope that I can make music until, my last breath. Let that go on a track. If someone's there with a tape recorder and I'm breathing my last, put it on the track.
Right.
Let it do something, man. It's just such a continuation of life, and people's presence and people's experiences and people's thoughts. Music is the bloodline for humankind. If there's a vein that we have that's cross-cultured or cross-continental or cross whatever, it has to be the spirit of music. It's the universal language forever.
Well spoken and definite words, and that's real noble. You and the band willing to pass on what you've learned from all the people to the kids today. Yeah. So hit up the funk-kin.com website and contact Nowell. And we're gonna get into some more music. And Nowell Haskins from Funkin' is here, and we're having a great time here at WVOF in the Upper Room with Joe Kelley and G. So if you just missed the earlier portion, roughly an hour of the interview here, we will be re-airing it on our 24-hour website in a few weeks for 3 or 4 days and nights. So just go to upperroomwithjoekelly.com and hit us on the email. We'll put you on the mailing list. And we got Off the Hook coming up. How's that sound?
Amen.
All right, amen. So we got the blessed approval right here. This is from Nowell Haskins and Funkin'. From Funkin'. That is, oops, there we go. Well, that's another great song. You Don't Have to Cry, but maybe we'll hear that later.
I won't.
And, that is from the album Funkin'. Yeah, Nowell Haskins, the leader of the band, and he's been kind enough to come up from New Jersey, and we're here at the studios WVOF, and you were telling me off there that there's going to be a remix for the upcoming album for Off the Hook.
Absolutely.
What's going on with this new one?
It's a rock remix. It's a full onslaught rock remix. It's in the vein of some of the Trackmasters cuts, but we did it all with live instrumentation. We didn't use any samples or any loops or anything like that. It's just us playing. Billy Spruill, actually, one of our guitar players, and again, Charlie Rivers. The take and spin that they have on it now is just like really, really different, as well as Nate Scheider. He has orchestrated and come up with a really, really good. It's excellent. It's excellent, if I must say so.
Right.
So you can look for that on the new record. The arrangement is just, it's a really different arrangement for a song, and especially for a live band to be playing. Again, we don't have any of the electronic tools up there with us, so we're playing this stuff, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, so we want to put it out.
So look for that, and you can also go to funk-kin.com, Funkin's website, and hit Nowell and the band up with some comments, and they'll fill you in on the website with the upcoming concert dates. They'll be in Ohio, Ledger's Quarry, right?
Amen.
Yeah.
Nelson's Ledgers.
Nelson's Ledger.
Nelson's
Okay.
Ledgers.
And that will be coming up in July, right?
Yeah, the 31st.
Yeah, 31st.
It's a Saturday. There's going to be music all weekend. A lot of great bands, a lot of great food. The website is lowercase nlqp.com. There's a phone number, and there are directions from all the major highways to get to the venue. But it's really, really an excellent spot. You can bring your family to this place. Actually, this year, I am going to take my family up with me.
Okay, cool.
We are going to go RVing for the first time. We've rented a full-out, huge 31-foot camper, and we're going to just, enjoy the week. That week, we're going to drive up. My daughter hasn't seen her granddad in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame yet, so
that's going to be neat.
We're going to see that, and, we're just going to have a good time.
So how about your pops, Fuzzy Haskins? Do you guys stay in contact a lot and get to jam?
We're in contact all the time. My dad is like a real ball of fire. He never sits still. He's always on the go. But, thank God for these cell phones.
Right.
And, we talk to each other often. Actually, I spoke with him on the way up, and we're cool, man. We're cool. A couple of the guys from Funkin' that were in the original band, Gene Thomas, which is Grady's son, and Derek Davis, which is Raymond's son, they opted to join OP, so they're out with them when they're out. But we're in touch, man.
Right.
We're in touch, and we are trying to work out something to where we can do some tracks with Funkin' and OP. I'm just trying to actually coordinate a schedule now that works for myself, and also Chicken's going to be involved, and we just want to give up some good music, man. It's tough for the older bands that are out there now. A lot of them don't get a chance to work with good production, good production teams, and those that do get a chance to do it, a lot of times the production will miss the mark. But I believe in my heart that a band is who a band is. PFunk is known for what they are, so that's the direction we want to take it. We don't want to reinvent the wheel, you know. I don't want to see PFunk more or less with a hip hop group.
Right.
That's not what I'm not looking for that. I want to hear P-Funk do what P-Funk do.
Yeah.
You know, and
you want to hear the bass and the guitar
absolutely.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, you know.
Right.
So that's what we're planning for that, and we're just trying to coordinate the dates right now. And you guys can look for that real soon.
Yeah. So we're gonna actually listen to something Nowell wants, I guess, make a comment about, give us a little background to the track we're going to listen to.
This track was inspired by the whole events of 9/11, and, you know, again, we send out condolences, and I never think that it will be too late to stop sending out condolences to all the families that were affected, all the lives that were lost. Will never be forgotten by this group. And we pray that the rest of the world and the rest of the music community would do the same. This song was inspired by those whole turn of events. I remember the morning so vividly. I was on the phone with our bus driver, actually, the gentleman who owns the tour bus that we use. Mm-hmm. He lives upstate New York, and he and I were on the phone that morning, and I have a three-way, and Keith, the lead vocalist, that I'm anxiously awaiting, and I just pray that he's okay. I'm sure he is, but you got to know Keith.
Right.
He cut in the phone that morning, and he told me what was transpiring, and I said, Keith, man, come on. I said, this is some type of blooper or something that somebody's creating. He says, no, it's really happening. And, you know, the three of us were on the phone that morning, and we just watched the whole thing unfold. And when the second plane came in, you know, it really hit my heart that this was really happening, you know, and I just could not get this out of my head. And maybe a few days went by, and Nate and I were fooling around in the basement. And this is just what came about, you know, from that.
So hopefully on an upcoming Funkin' album.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is Funkin' and Nowell Haskins, and we're going to listen to it right now. Inspired by the events on 9/11. Oh, right there from Funkin'. That's a deep track and some powerful lyrics right there.
Yeah.
So I know you had the event to just like you talked about your experience to 9/11 but putting it down with the lyrics and stuff like that. You know, must be pretty intense, right?
Yeah.
To get it like that, and to bring a vocal style like that as well.
Well, the motivation was definitely there. I mean, who has inspired all of this stuff, man? That's the question at hand, and I think that's the root of what we're looking for. Mm-hmm. Like I said, in that day in itself, just was one of those days, man. You know, the sun wasn't really shining real bright outside. It was a little cloudy, and that's where we were. That's the place that we were. And sometimes, even if you listen to your favorite music, it should always be able to take you somewhere. You know, you should be able to take a trip to wherever it is you need to go when you listen to whatever it is that you listen to.
Right.
So, in listening to this, man, we hope that somehow, man, that people can relate and just hear the questions that we're asking, you know, in the track, and feel where the spirit of the song came from. It's a dark place. Mm-hmm. It's a dark place, but unfortunately, you know, it's a real place.
Yeah, and music definitely inspiring to yourself.
True.
And bringing it to people there. I know the listeners love that, and you know, should drop the comments to Nowell and let them know they were enjoying the track.
We welcome them. Yeah.
FUNK-kin.com, and Nowell has been my special guest here for over an hour. We're having a great time, and also I wanted to ask you this because I know you got a broad range of styles you bring into the band, and how about your listening? I mean, you dropped us some music, but how about your own listening habits?
Oh, wow, man!
what do you groove to? And
I listen to everything. Literally, I listen to everything. There's a train track by my house. I will purposely on Saturday mornings around 9:45 or so, I usually sit in my car and I turn the radio off, and I usually will play along with the train as it comes past, because there's a rhythm that I get only from that train track, man. And I'm trying to think of a way to put it on my 24 track. Now, I don't have a cable that is that long that'll reach out there, but if I could get some type of wireless audio take or something, I'm thinking I might be able to do it with my mini disc recorder. But I listen to everything, to answer your question, Joe. There are a few bands right now that I really am kind of feeling. I gave you a tape of the band Afro Skull. They're out of the New York area, and I'm sure that their name has become more popular on the independent circuit. Afro Skull, I listen to a lot of Joey Eppard and Three.
Three, right? Yeah.
Also, of course, Funkadelics forever in my playlist forever, and I mean that. But one of my favorite albums is my dad's solo record, Radioactive. I just think that's the greatest record that's probably ever been done, man.
And your dad's still cool, because you see him on stage and he's as hip as ever.
He's been
doing it from so long.
For so long.
But that's great. That's inspiring to see.
Definitely, man. I'd like to find the time, and I'm sure I could get the permission to redo some of those songs.
Wow. Yeah.
But I guess that Fishbone I listen to a lot of. The band member, I gave you a look at the CD, John Bingham from Fishbone, his solo project. I'm loving the gentleman Van Hunt. I'm listening to him. He's a kind of soul funk cat from out, I guess, not really West Coast, but I guess East West Coast.
Right.
Also, Amp Fiddler.
Oh yeah,
formerly of Funkadelic.
Right. Yeah.
His project is killing. There's a lot, man. But my favorite bands, of course, are Funkadelic, Chili Peppers, Fishbone, and believe it or not, one of the old school groups that I just love, man, and I probably couldn't listen to enough of, would be New Birth. They just don't make music like that anymore, and that's what we're really trying to touch on. Myself and the gentleman that I had mentioned earlier, Robert Chicken Burke, we're trying to reach that old school flavor where guys really were masters of their craft, and they played from spirit and soul, and yeah, man, that's when I think it's best felt and most appreciated, when you can hear it like that.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what I'm grooving on, man.
Yeah, my special guest has been the great Nowell Haskins, and he's based out of Plainfield, the area, originally from Plainfield, New Jersey, but New Jersey, and his pops, Fuzzy Haskins, on tour and performing with Original P, and of course all the legacy with the bands you perform with. But Funkin, that's where it's at, and you can go to the website funk-kin.com and drop Nowell a email and said you enjoyed the interview and the new music, and
you can also write me at my email address.
Okay, you can give
one
that
of
out.
them, which is Silent Boatman, SILENTBOATMAN, all one word, silentboatman at AOL.com. You can feel free to write me an email, and I will always respond. And also at the website www.funkkin.com. Just please write your true feelings, and we will definitely respond with our true feelings.
Right. And also,
like it or not.
Yeah. And if you're coming out to the shows, let Nowell know. And
please.
And also pick up their debut CD.
Please do.
But they've got some new music, which we're really happy because when we first got in contact with each other, you're very very cool, and a lot of musicians need to take the lead of you, being open to bringing new music out in the forefront before it's in the stores, and
Hey man, we learned our lessons from the best, I think, and I gotta give this plug to those that are deserving of it. PFunk has been one of the greatest bands to ever be allowed to express themselves musically, and just their whole take on open expression and having that creative freedom, and having the freedom to just put your stuff out the way you want to put it out. Again, you had the Grateful Dead. I'm sure they probably were the best that ever did it, really.
Right.
They set the format for that. They allowed the taping and, all that stuff to go on. So we took our lessons from all of them. And, you have some groups that are out there doing it now, some really, really large groups. But again, it's always been about, for us, and I think for those bands, to just make sure that the people have access to what it is that you do, because if you make a connection spiritually, musically with someone, man, it's so important to continue that, because it will only get stronger. That energy will only grow, and it'll trickle and it'll circulate, and before you know it, that's what a fan base is to me.
Right.
Right. It's about a group of people that share a common energy, and if I can sit in a room with you and be moved by what it is that you say or what it is that you're doing, and vice versa, if I can move you maybe with the beat of my drum, or the groove that my band is playing, then we're in a welcome place.
Right.
So
that's what we are here today.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Absolutely.
One of the newer tracks you dropped on me, I'm not sure about the title, but we played it a couple weeks ago about the electronic song about the
actually, that song don't have a title either.
Okay.
So yeah,
but we got it here.
Call in, write in,
Yeah.
give us some titles.
Yeah, all the lyrics are there, and this is a great track from Nowell Haskins and Funkin. And once again, hit up their website, funk-kin.com, and hope to see you over the summer performing live. Come out and check out Funkin. And thanks, my brother, for coming by this afternoon.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
Thank you. We appreciate this forum, your format, man. Without this, it doesn't happen. So, again, our hats are off to you, and thank all the listeners that are out there, those that are continuing to listen and support what it is that this gentleman does, and those that are like him. This is an ongoing thing and something that we need to have in order to survive. And that's what it's really about, survival, not being swallowed up by the quote-unquote norm, the format of day-to-day living, which
Right.
can be, rigorous and monotonous, and that's not what we're about. Creativity and expression, and being different is okay, and if that's who you are, be who you are, do what you do, and Joe and others like him are here for you.
Right on.
We appreciate it.
So thanks so much, Nowell. And
All
this
right.
is some music, a little sneak peek from hopefully a soon to be released Funkin' album.